Good morning, Terry.
Hi.
We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And this is on the initiative referendum signature requirement resolution that we're working on. And first order of business is to, since we are the committee, uh, Doug Lasher and Terry Niles,
Okay.
uh, we need to select a chair. So, are you interested in being chair?
Do you know what? I think I'm a chair on, I'll probably end up being a chair on a couple of other committees. So if you're willing
Okay,
to do it, I
I'm
would
willing
be,
to do it if
okay.
it's do a toin cost to,
Okay.
uh, but all right. Well then, if we'll just go ahead by acclamation that Doug Lasher will be the chair, and we'll go ahead now and you have a copy of a proposed write-up of an initiative. It's just a proposal, something just for the committee to start on. And we have, and this again is a proposed an initiative signature requirement. And it just is on the initiative portion, I should say. I know I mentioned referendum, but we could cover that too if we wanted to. Um,
Yeah, I had a couple of questions that I think that we as a group should
okay,
discuss about that.
okay,
Yeah. Um,
go ahead.
yeah. So a couple of the questions is at our last commission meeting, people brought up that it's very confusing, the mini initiative and all of that. And I thought about that a lot and like, oh, is this something for us to tackle here? But we are also we are going to be having a amendment proposal around a how-to guide on how to use the home rule, and that would probably be a better place to address um,
Mhm.
the confusing nature of the initiative and referendum process. So I just wanted to state that here because that I think that would be a better place to address it in a how-to guide. And then around the charter. The other thing, and I'm glad you brought that up, is if we're changing the percentage for a initiative, does it make sense to change it for a referendum as well? Um,
Yeah,
and I
it's the
know that
lower
that's
threshold.
different than
Yeah,
a mini initiative. A mini initiative is just 100 signatures to start getting and it has to be within 10 days, and I understand all that, but I think we should think about if we should have the referendum, which mirrors what's asked for in the initiative, mirror what's asked for in the um,
well, we could come back and study. I have not looked at the referendum piece yet. I was just focusing on the initiative signatures because I thought that they're unreasonable for the because right now the requirement is that for initiative signature percentage requirement is 10% of the total of the governor's race in the last election,
right.
and that's 27,118 people that you need to, and probably more to just to be safe. Um, people who are required to have on a signature. And to do that in 120 days is a monumental task. You would need to have a massive organization and you need lots of money to make that happen. So if you're trying to do a check and balance process with the council and the decisions that they make, uh, that is almost unreasonable. Um, and it's going to grow because the population keeps growing and we have more and more people who are becoming registered voters. So that number changes and makes it even more difficult. So um, I was just proposing and just threw out the number of 5%, at least cutting it in half. You don't want to make it too easy to keep challenging because then you just clog up the works of a government. But you don't want to. The reason why you have initiative referendum is so that you can make the public can make changes if they feel it's in their best interest.
I
And
know, I agree. And the referendum is the same, it's the same 120 days to get 27,000. So it's the
is it
same,
same? Oh, okay.
yeah, it's the same as the initiative. And that's why I think that, since you haven't looked at it, we don't have to discuss that today, but you can take a look at it and
I
see
will.
if that is as unreasonable too. The referendum is even harder because you have to do it within 10 days of an ordinance being passed, that you have to have so many signatures, and then you have to, 10 days after that, 120 days after that, you have to collect those signatures. So it still makes it a really laborious process, like you're
Yeah.
talking about,
Yeah. You
and
have to
almost virtually
be
impossible.
multimillionaire to be able to do this,
Right,
to
right.
afford the money and just pony up the money real fast to pay people to go out and get the signatures. Because you're talking about well over 200 signatures a day for 120 days to make that
Right.
happen. And
So I think, like, to look at what we've been tasked with, I did put together a work plan that I will send you. And just because the commission wants to see a work plan, so like a formal work plan that's going to be submitted on the first. And it's just, we can add things to that, and I'll send it to you, and you can add it. And
do you
it's
think
just,
we'd be done though, if we could have a couple more meetings and just present our findings at that point in time and have it done with? Because it isn't, and we're talking about um,
if we
some
don't want to,
percentage
we can,
changes.
if we don't want to look at the referendum and those kind of things. We're only talking about 2 weeks. So if we want to do any kind of research on if it was ever done, if people ever did they ever pass, or was anybody able to do that? And like you said, if we wanted to present some of that data, we still have, if we presented it on the October meeting, we still have time to do that. But I know that they wanted a work plan, so every single committee that I'm in right now, I'm in the process of putting a work plan together, because that seemed to be something that the commission wanted to see from us. It's nothing fancy. It just says
Okay,
we'll do this research by here, we'll do this by here, we'll have this for you by this, that kind of thing. And I'll send it to you. If you think we can be done, then we'll be done. But I'll send that work plan out, and you can add to it or subtract to it, or
okay.
anything that you want, that you think that we should research. How hard would it be to research if people were able to get initiatives on the ballot, and what was that effort, and were people actually able to do it? Have we ever done it in Cook County?
No,
No. Okay.
this was the first time when they tried the fireworks signatures, and they quickly realized that it was it's
Don't work.
uh, sort of like can you hear me?
I can
I'm
hear you.
okay. I'm losing you. I'm not hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit more, please.
Okay.
Uh,
Can you hear now?
uh barely.
Huh.
Yeah,
I
it just
wonder. I
seemed.
have. I haven't even moved. Am
Oh,
I
now,
hearing
now,
you?
now, now you're better.
Yeah.
It's. I think the direction of your microphone and where you're
Haven't touched
talking.
anything. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So maybe putting together, like, for the commission, information like that. Like, we've never been able to do it. No one's ever brought an initiative forward. No one's ever, maybe just having that kind of data collection, and what that looks like would be better. And
Okay.
then we also want to think about, this is what I think, we want to think about for the commission, since it's 10% now, do we want to present options like, okay, 5%, 7%, 3%? Let's, do we want to go that route, or do we think that
I, I, I
5% is good?
well, I mean, I would be, yeah, I think we need to look at, what's realistic to put together a, you don't want it too easy, you don't want it too hard. You don't want You know, you want to be able to be like climbing Mount St. Helens versus climbing
Right.
Mount Everest. And right now we got Mount Everest there right now.
So
And
I was thinking that maybe one of us could reach out to MRSC and just ask them, have there been any citizens initiatives that went through in other counties? Can you give us some data on that? Because they are, as an elected official,
mm,
they are our resources for that kind of thing, and that would be an easy place to go to ask for that data, don't you think?
yes,
Do you want to write that letter?
I'll just contact them, and you could submit online and they'll get right back to you. In
I
fact, it
know
was,
I've used them before
yeah,
as
I
well.
asked the question about initiatives and referendums because I was looking at the state law and constitution. I think I sent you the information. Did I? I
Yeah.
may have sent it, yeah. Um, and I thought it was interesting that there's nothing in the Constitution or state law that tells counties that they can do initiatives and referendums. But somehow in a, a few court cases, and in one went all the way to state Supreme Court, does allow counties to have the initiative referendum process similar
Hmm.
to cities. Uh, I have an issue with that really being they did a real stretch, I think, in bringing counties involved because there is a difference between cities and counties. Cities are created as enterprise zones; they could do what they want within that. They were created. Counties were um, set up for the state to provide the state functions at the local level, and so the counties historically have had less flexibility in terms of running their operations at the local level. It's all directed by what state law says. So anyway, I found that interesting that
Right.
there it it's a Supreme Court ruling that allows this to be put in our charters, and
Okay, well,
so
why don't we do that? Because that will be another great thing to have for the commission when we do put it to the commission, is like the from data from the MRSC around
okay,
charter counties that have had successful initiatives filed by citizens, that and what their process was like, and any information that you can get from them, because that will help us educate the commission around this issue that I know people have talked to me about, and I know they've talked to you about as well. So so we'll put that together, and I'll put that in our work plan, and I'll send you a copy of the work plan, and
okay,
we can keep adding as we go along. So then at the September 1st meeting, the commission will see that we've done our due diligence, that we are doing the work that we said that we
so
would
we're gonna
do.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I I would hope that if we can move this along. I mean, the questions aren't. I mean, I was trying to keep our work fairly narrow and not get too broad in
Yeah,
it.
it is narrow.
But but you know, it's something that maybe we could wrap up at another meeting and just
We
have
probably could.
present.
You could,
Yeah.
you could probably get
So
that data and think of, and then you have a look at the referendum process to see if it should
sure.
mirror the same.
Okay.
So I guess those would be the two things that we would talk about, right?
Yeah.
Whether we think that the initiative and referendum requirements should be the same, since it's the same amount of time and it requires the same amount of signatures right now.
Okay.
Whether they should be the same, and then just some data to present to the commission, and we could probably wrap it up pretty quick, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, awesome.
So um and we could maybe we could even recommend after our next meeting. I'm hoping that we're able to just have a final recommendation that we could just present them and let them go. I know the vacancy committee is going to be working on that, um, try to give a final report so that the commission can have something to work on and think about for their be ready to go by October to
I think the
pass it.
vacancy is a little bit different. like I said at a commission meeting, like when we were talking about RCV and those kind of things, when the data is presented to them, and if we present the data that we get back from the MRSC and stuff, I think commissioners need some time to think about it. The vacancy, I think commissioners have had a lot of time to think about that. So
Yeah,
I
it
wouldn't
was,
ask for a
yeah,
formal vote or anything like that on our first meeting. I would
okay,
just say, here's our data, here's our work plan, here's our data. We'll come back to you in October.
okay.
Yes.
All right.
Does
And
that make
yeah,
sense?
because yeah, it's the percentage that I picked was 5%. There was nothing magical about it. It was just saying
Right.
27,000
No,
is too much. 13,000 is still a lot.
I
But you
agree.
know, it's understanding what is the reason for having an initiative referendum, what is the purpose, and to allow the citizens um, uh, the ability to use that if they feel that it's necessary to look at having a different direction of
Right. Right.
where the council needs to go.
Right.
So
Okay. Um,
anyway, uh,
okay. Well, great. I
I
think that
think
we
I
have a
think
good direction.
yeah, I think we got a direction, and we could probably end our meeting fairly soon here. I would like to maybe set up another meeting for this next week just to see where, so we keep on task. Are you available next week?
I am. I'm pretty open. Are you going to send out that email for information, or go out on MRSC and ask them for information around
Yes.
that
Yeah, I'll do that
between now and
today.
then? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
And
great because they're pretty responsive. They always come back pretty quick.
yeah, yeah,
So
they
yeah, I'm available next week. I'm not working.
at
So
this time, or is there a better time for you? Do you want a little later? A little,
no, this time's fine. Yeah.
okay. All right.
It can even be earlier if you want it earlier.
Uh, now I'm retired. And
You're retired? Is that what you said? No, I'm retired.
yes, I'm tired and
Okay.
retired. I don't know why they say retired. I'm just tired. Um,
Okay.
but
Okay, well,
the um, it's 10:30 is about the soonest I like to get moving in the morning. Though
yeah,
today was a little different with
yeah.
plumbing issues. So
Okay, well, I
any
will send you I will add the MRSA diet information to the work plan, and then I'll send you the work plan just so we have because they asked for a formal work plan, and so I think everybody should have one. Um, and I'll send it to you.
okay,
Okay, sounds
all
cool.
right. Well, I'll end the recording and we'll oop, let's see, stop that.